later, but let's start with an easy question.
What's that?
Why collies?
Why collies? Well, this was before Lassie. And when I was a child, I read, my third grade teacher took our whole class to the library. And I got the book out, Further Adventures of Lad by Albert Payson Terhune. And that was the beginning. I mean, it went on from there. So I read everything I could get my hands on and got really interested in collies. And of course, I was really interested in the show aspect of it. I mean, it sounded interesting. And also, I grew up in Wenatchee, Washington, which was just billed as the apple capital of the world. It's on the Columbia River, the confluence of the Wenatchee River and the Columbia River. And down on one of our main streets, there was a little cigar store, soda fountain, magazine stand, if I left anything out, and it was called The Midget. And they carried 3 all-breed dog magazines, Dog News, Dog World, and Dogdom. And dog news in some form or another, I guess, is still, I think it's online now. But anyway, I started with my allowance. I would go and go look at them all, and I'd buy the one that had the most about collies. And it was usually Dog News, because Mrs. Rosenthal, who was the editor, she featured a breed every month. And collies and shelties were in December. As years went by, both breeds became numerically strong enough that they used to have collies in December and shelties in November. And that's where I learned about, show dogs. And so as far as there was nobody raising collies in Wenatchee, Washington. However, actually my first collie was not a purebred collie. My father had passed away in the spring, and my sister and I had been begging for a puppy. So she decided that was a good time. And we had a cabin up on Lake Wenatchee, which was about 40 miles from Wenatchee. And on the way home through the farming area, she stopped at a place to get some milk. And there was a puppy, a tricolor puppy. So for $5, Mother bought Rover. She brought him home, plunked him down in the cabin there, the hot living room. And of course, we're just overcome with joy. We're already thinking of names, Lad, Bruce, the gamut. Mother said, no, his name is Rover. Mary and I both said Rover, because in school at that time, Farmer Brown had his dog named Rover. And of course, there's a little jingle, have a dog, his name is Rover, and he wags all over, or something like that. So we thought that was a real common name, and we didn't want it. Mother said, no, he knows his name, and that's it. So Rover, he stayed. Well, Rover we saw his father, we never saw the mother. The father was probably an Australian Shepherd. I don't think, there weren't that many Border Collies around then to be a Border Collie. He was all black, and he was old. And actually, we stopped again at this same farm, and the farmer was not in his cups as he had been when Mother paid $5 for the dog. He would like to buy him back, and of course that was out of the question. And so we did see the father. He was all black, may have had a little white on his chest or something. We never saw the mother, but they said she was a collie, and and to look at him, he was a collie cross. And of course, most of your farm collies anyway were collie mixes. So anyway, we had Rover, and this doesn't have anything to do with show dogs, but like I said, it always bothered my sister and me about his name. So one day, the Wenatchee Daily World, the newspaper, I guess it must have been a slow day, and they had an article about the licensed dogs in Wenatchee, and the names, the popular names, and there was a Spot and a Treve and I forget what else. No Rover. Well, my sister and I just, oh yes there is, and Rover was licensed, so we marched down to the Daily World office in with the dog, and here he is. So we got a big write-up, and I've still got, and I have permission to use those. I mean, I went back later and I have permission from the Rufus Woods, who was the editor of the Daily World. Actually, he was one of the movers and shakers of getting Grand Coulee Dam built, which is beside the point. But anyway, so Rover became famous because of his name, not in spite of it. But anyway, so we lost herding. The collies are herding dogs, and herding dogs will be car chasers. They are. All your herding dogs will. I mean, they want to control movement, and those days, dogs were loose. Nobody penned up a dog. Hunting dogs during the nesting season, but as far as the rest of them goes, they weren't. So of course Rover was a car chaser, and he met his end. He was chasing a motorcycle, and the guy ran him into a parked car and broke his back and neck. And so we had to have him euthanized. And so then my sister and I are weeping and moaning, and so this time I wanted a registered dog. And so my cousins in Portland, we went down to visit them, and there was this collie kennel just down over the hill. So we trooped down there, and Mrs. Bardsley had Portland collies, all Tazewell, good old Tazewell Arkin breeding, and we bought Robin. We went down there, and she had these puppies, not young. Rover was probably about 3 months. And or Robin, I mean, about 3 months. And we had originally wanted a tricolor, but the tricolor, she had a couple of tries, but I didn't like them. I didn't like their heads. They were too angled. And even at that age, I knew the difference. And so we got Robin, and of course we re-registered him as Robin Hood of Sherwood. And then time passed, and when I started with collies, I combined the AKC wants a unique name, you know, and you blah, blah, blah. And so I combined their two names, Robin and Rover, and got Robin. But Robin was by Champion Pride of Portland. He was by Cock Robin of Arkin, little brother to Future.
Oh, wow.
And I thought